Welcome back as I report more signings, mostly restricted free agents. We got Zach LaVine, who was first offered by the Sacramento Kings. And of course, with restricted free agents, the incumbent team, meaning the team that the player originally played for, when another team has, offered the player and the player signs an offer sheet, the other team or the player originally played for, they have 48 hours to match. So, Sacramento Kings offered Zach LaVine 4 years, $78 million. Zach LaVine signed the offer sheet, which means Chicago would have 48 hours to match, and they have. So that means Zach LaVine returns back to the Chicago Bulls, 4 years, $78 million. And it was reportedly that he was upset that another team had to offer him that kind of money. But to be quite honest, man, this is pretty much, standard, for the team. They don't want to just, throw the money out there knowing, teams gonna look out for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so they want to see what the market look like. If nobody offers Zach LaVine, then they could be like, well, shit, we can just go ahead and give him 1 year, $12 million. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, 4 years, 78 at 19.5 million, they probably would have saved their money. But there's obviously, some interest from, other teams. So 4 years, $78 million, even though, he got his money. So, I can understand how he feels. He probably felt like the team that value him as much as he thought he did. But, they matched. So I guess you could just take it like that. But Zach LaVine returns to the Chicago Bulls, 4 years, $78 million after Sacramento signed him to an offer sheet of $78 million. Chicago matched. Moving on to Kyle Anderson, the Memphis Grizzlies. Him and the Memphis Grizzlies agree on a 4 year, $37 million offer sheet. And this was done yesterday. So the San Antonio Spurs have another 24 hours to match this offer. Otherwise, the Grizzlies will have Kyle Anderson. This will be a pretty good move going back to the grit and grind era. They're trying to build that back again, man. Tony Allen's no longer there. Zebo is no longer there. They're trying to get rid of Chandler Parsons, who I don't even know why they even got him. But this will be a step in the right direction. But, you can imagine that the Spurs are, working diligently to get him back. If not, then, hey, Memphis got a pretty good player. Jusuf Nurkic just went on and signed an offer sheet. Not an offer sheet. He re-signed back with the Portland Trail Blazers. I guess it doesn't count as an offer sheet because this is his original team. So 4 year, $48 million, return back to Portland. Pretty good money for Nurkic, man. Shout out to Nurk. Then we got Jonas Jerebko, and the reason why I got it set up like this is because he was recently waived by the Utah Jazz. They're on the hook for $4.2 million. He has to clear waivers, or if the Golden State Warriors claim him off waivers, they'll be on the hook with his salary of $4.2 million. Otherwise, if he clears waivers, Utah will have to pay that $4.2 million, and most likely Jerebko will probably sign with Golden State for the vet minimum, which is $2.4 million. You can imagine that they'll probably take the $2.4 million. Or, the thing about waivers is that teams can claim different players, and usually the team with the least record, with the worst record, they get them first. Now you ask yourself, well, how do they know who's worse if the season hasn't started yet? They go off the previous season. The waivers, they go off the previous season until the season starts. You feel me? So let's say Brooklyn claimed them and the Golden State Warriors claimed them. Since Brooklyn has the worst record, Brooklyn will claim them. So you can imagine that maybe Golden State claimed them. If they do, they're on the hook for $4.2 million. Utah doesn't have to pay anything. If he clears waivers, Utah will have to pay him his $4.2 million. It's still on their books because they cut him. And he'll probably sign Golden State for the vet minimum of $2.4 million. So either way it goes, he's going to the Golden State Warriors. Pretty good signing for them. He's a stretch for, almost like a Maurice Spates So they kind of get a Maurice Spates kind of player. Don't have to do much, but then again, when you're on that team, you don't have to do much again. So to summarize, we got Zach LaVine returning to Chicago. We got Kyle Anderson signing an offer sheet with Memphis. San Antonio has another 24 hours to match. Otherwise, he'll be with Memphis. Yusuf Nurkic returns to Portland. And we got Jonas Jerebko going to Golden State either via waivers or basically clearing waivers and signing a vet minimum. All right, anything else? I'll be right here. 1, 2, 3.